We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for His Worship the Mayor?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. I open the meeting at 7:02 and we start our meeting this evening with our acknowledgement of country. We'd like to acknowledge this land that we meet on today is the traditional land of the Kaurna people, that we respect their spiritual relationship with their country, and the City of Playford would also like to pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. We'll go to the attendance record and everybody is present, and we'll now go to the confirmation of minutes of the Ordinary Council meeting held on the 18th of April 2023, be confirmed as a true and accurate record of proceedings.
I do.
Moved by Councillor Smil-Janik, seconded by Councillor Stroud. I'm presuming the mover and seconder don't wish to speak. Are there any other corrections or said changes to the minutes? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against, I declare that carried. Councillors, you would be aware that tonight we have our public hearing for the 2023-2024 business plans. I'm required to let you know that as per section of 123 of the Local Government Act 1999, a council must invite interested persons to attend a public meeting to ask questions and make submissions in relation to the draft annual business plan for a period of at least 1 hour. As our traditional practice, we will move item 11.1 till now, and I'll open that period of at least 1 hour at 7:03 p.m. We do have a number of people that are registered, I believe, to speak as part of the annual business plan. So I'll ask the governance team if they can provide me with an updated list of those members of the public who have registered for their attendance. All right, it's now appeared on the screen. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, as part of this 1 hour hearing, we will go by those that have already registered. At the conclusion of those members speaking, if there are other members present in the 1 hour period that wish to speak in relation to the budget, they'll be called forward. When you are called forward, you have up to 5 minutes to do your representation. At the 4-minute mark, you'll be given a 1-minute warning. And then at the end of your presentation, if there are questions from the councillors, please stay at the podium. Now, I believe our first member of the public is Sophia Crabble. Is she here? Where is she? Come on forward. Oh. No, I need to put her first. Hey, Sophia. Okay, we've got young Miss Crab here that would like to make a presentation, but she has got a little bit nervous in seeing the number of people that are present this evening. So what we can do is, would you like some other people to go first? So you can see and hear from some other people, then you can come back. Would you like to do that, or would you like to go now? You'll read it instead? Okay.
My name is Safira, and tonight I would like to talk about something very important. Although we are beyond excited about getting a bike track at Dwight Reserve, the playground and the playground upgrades, we are missing one important facility, a toilet. There isn't a child that I know, sorry, there isn't a child that I know who doesn't enjoy going to the playground. But then there's nothing worse than having to pack up and leave because someone needs the toilet. Imagine having a great time with friends and family and having to leave everyone. A playground is a place to let your imagination run wild. But when nature calls at the most unexpected times, having to leave for the toilet is not a fun experience. Having toilets is not just about convenience, it's about safety and hygiene too. Without toilets, children might resort to using bushes and hiding behind trees. Imagine the messy and unhealthy environment it would be then for our children, and not just our children, but their parents and other people as well. Having a toilet at the playground also encourages families to stay longer and engage in physical activities. But it's not just about the children. It's about the parents too, and the grandparents and caregivers, aunties and uncles, all the people that take family and family friends to these playgrounds. In conclusion, adding toilets to the playground is a crucial step in creating a safe, hygienic and inclusive environment for everybody. That's all.
Well, thank you very much for your representation. Is there anything else you want to say? Are you okay?
Yep.
Does anyone have any questions?
Okay.
If not, well, thank you very much for your deputation. It can be a bit daunting when you come up there, but thank you for coming along.
Mayor, if I may,
yes.
With your indulgence, I just wanted to say that Safira and I believe that's her mother,
yes.
Have done an excellent job, and she should be proud of herself. Obviously, it takes quite a bit of courage to stand up in front of a crowd of this gathering, so congratulations to her. Thank you.
Yes, well done. We'll now move on to our next representative, Mr. Gary Cluse.
Good evening, everyone. Normally people tend to come to council meetings with complaints. I've gone probably the opposite way. Just wanted to commend the council on a couple of initiatives through obviously the funding that's been announced, a couple of those being the opt-in green waste service, definitely something that I think is important to the communities, the tree planting that's detailed within, the 7 projects totalling just under $7 million, which is obviously federal funding, but definitely important to our neighbourhood. Additional $14.5 million investment into curbs, footpaths, roads and sporting facilities. Definitely, as with the expanding people moving into our neighbourhood, definitely important. So I live in the Munapara area, which is close to Anglevale, definitely close to near Dalkeith Road, so I do know Clint. I just did have a few questions, so I'll just put it out there, and obviously if someone may answer them. I'm aware that there is funding allocated towards some work on Dalkeith Road. The main question would be, is that a full resurface, or is it just basically a patch job that seems to have been ongoing for multiple years now?
If you've got a few, we might take them.
I've got one more question after. Yep.
Yep.
And just in the strategic plan, I did have, so from 2020 to 2024, the strategic plan included installation of new lighting at Agana Park and some car parking. Now, we're nearly halfway through 2023 and obviously approaching 2024. Is there a locked-in date when works are scheduled to begin?
Do you have anything else?
No,
that's it. Okay. We're just getting a notepad to come up forward, but we'll look to one of our staff who might be able to provide a response to that. don't all jump up at once. Usually you're quite... Mr. Langman's very energetic to come forward. If you've got no more representation, Mr. Cluse, I'll just get you to just grab a seat there while Mr. Welsh provides some answers. Thank you.
So in the annual business plan, or the draft annual business plan and budget, it includes the stage 1 of the Agana Park Master Plan, which includes the additional car parking and lighting. I know the project dates are actually within the plan. I can't tell you what they are at the top of my head, but we can definitely find out that information for you. In regards to the Dalkeith Road work, we'll need to take that question on notice.
I don't believe anyone has a question for Mr. Cluse. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Cluse, for your deputation. We now have Ms. Simone Black. Ms. Simone Black, who's registered. Are you here? No, hasn't arrived, so we'll go to our next person. We've got Ms. Rasha Hamoud Maki from the Playford College. Rasha, if you can come forward.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor Doherty and all the councillors for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. I'm here to advocate for the students and staff of Playford College, to speak in favour for having an activated crossing between Playford College and Donstey Reserve. Playford College is a school in Elizabeth that is serving a financially disadvantaged community on a school site across Donstey Reserve. If it wasn't for all the government support, our story in terms of development would have been very different and not as exciting. So we are very grateful for the government and the support. We are also grateful that we have an agreement for our students to use the Donstey Reserve. However, we have no safe provision to get over 500 students safely on a daily basis. I'm confident that we all know that it takes one inattentive driver to cause serious injuries to multiple 5-year-olds crossing at once. What we currently do is that we get 2 staff members to stand in the middle of the road as a protective shield for our students, with the hope that drivers will see adults much easier than they will see children. We've had drivers beeping, speeding, and just driving past us, while swearing at us for standing in the middle of the road, and in many cases using nasty comments. We've been requesting this crossing for over 3 years, and this is the second time that it gets to the budget, which we are grateful for. We've met with many helpful people from the council who were understanding and supportive. Reading about the crossings in other councils, my prayers today is that we don't wait until we lose a child for the money to become available for the crossing. I know the crossing costs money, yet I'm confident that we all agree that life of children and staff is far more valuable and shouldn't be wasted over an accident that could have been avoided. Thanks, Mayor Doherty and all the councillors and members of the public for listening to me today. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? No? Well, thank you very much for your deputation. Our next representative is Mr. Dennis Davey.
Thank you. Let me get my suitcase unpacked. You don't mind, do you?
I know for those of you in the crowd that don't normally come to our annual deputations, Mr. Davey does usually do a song or something. I'm hoping no interpretive dance or puppets are coming out of the suitcase today. If you can hurry up, Mr. Davey, that would be great. Thank you.
I don't know. Thank you, Your Worship. I get 5 minutes, do I? Really?
5 minutes at the 4-minute mark. If you're still going, you'll get a 1-minute warning. No one else has hit the 4 minutes yet in their presentations.
We'll see what happens. Thank you, Your Worship. Mr Green, the elected members, especially the newbies who don't know who I am. Most of you do. I think you should know me. I do look a little different on purpose. Now, I love seeing the paper just before we come in here, and the front of the bunyip says, "Hey, big spender." I'll hold it up for you. Somebody came to Elizabeth City Centre a week ago. Now, I've had my little bit of fun with it. And I've rewritten it as, "Hey, big spenders." I think it means about the rates and what's happening in Playford since I left here in 2018. Hey, big spenders, don't worry, Albo. I'll protect you from any attacks while you're in Elizabeth. Do you need me to hold it up again, or have you all seen it? Thank you, Maddie, for holding my hand. I would hate to get bushwhacked by somebody who is unemployed, living under the poverty line up here. I hope the mayor likes my pale blue tie. I hear he is such a nice guy. What do you say, Marky? There is a head in the middle, and I think that might be the Minister for Health. So nice of these good folks to be the dormitory for our AUKUS subs to be built down the port. No? You don't understand what I'm saying? That's all right. Now, I've got a few shout-outs from earlier this year. If I get I'm always like this when I get here. A shout-out first to Scott Palmer, who cleaned up 98 Dauncey Road in record time. He has also informed me that Pat Herbert Court rubbish dump has been handed on to Darren Hurst Rec Services rubbish removal crew. I noticed on the train one day to Salisbury that somebody had turned a residence into a white goods dump yard. And I rung it in, and I got a telephone call back from Scott having a go at me because I give him the wrong number. It's a bit hard to see what number you're looking at on Dauncey Road. I'd said 89 and it was 98. And I thought he was joking when he said he'd get it cleaned up in a month. Now that is a big change from when I was in this chamber, because I think it was 45 Johnston Road took a whole 8 years, plus another year after I'd been out of council. And there's also a Mr Dunn of Sedgehill Road is also happy that 26 Sedgehill Road has also now been sold after 6 or 7 years of both him and firstly I reporting it, because its owner now lives in Portugal and each year became a fire hazard. I hope he likes his new concrete footpath along Broxmore Road and all the way up to beyond bus stop 71 on Woodford Road. The first gentleman who spoke actually said about the green bins. That was something else that I brought into the chamber way back in 2010.
1 minute.
From 1 minute already. Gee. I haven't got to some other dot point stuff. All right, here's one. Who is responsible for who can and who can share on Facebook, because there are times when I've been limited. That one's the staff one. Good to see Council has continued the good work of previous councils with efficiency and effectiveness programs, and the fact that the Open Space Fund has been reactivated, Mofflin Reserve, and I think that you shouldn't have to use that at Gloaming Reserve, because it'd be better to put the money into Joe Gapper Park. I was going to go into Riverlea, but actually, how are you getting along with fixing the Gawler River at Virginia?
Thank you, Mr Davey. That's your 5 minutes for your representation.
Wow, I've got past 4 minutes.
You did.
Wow. Thank you.
Is there any questions for Mr Davey? No, there isn't. Thank you, Mr Davey.
So do I get a lolly or something for being a good boy?
Thank you, Mr Davey.
I'll just pack my suitcase and go fly the bus.
I just think we're all relieved there's no singing this year. Thank you, Mr Davey. Is Miss Simone Black present? She's registered, has not? No. So under section 123 of the Local Government Act, a council must invite interested persons to make comment in relation to the public meeting for the hearing of the 23-24 business plan. Is there any other member of the gallery who hasn't registered but would like to make a representation this evening in relation to the business plan? If you do, just put your hand up and then we can get your name and you can come forward if there's anyone who likes to make a representation. We are required to keep the public hearing open for 1 hour. If there's nobody at this point in time that wishes to make a representation, I'll just ask the staff to make sure there's nobody in the Great Hall. If not, then we'll continue on with the meeting, and then periodically through items I will call for anybody to make their representation. For members of the gallery, you're free to stay for the remainder of the meeting, but if you do wish to leave, you are more than welcome to do so, but you're more than welcome to stay if you wish. Yeah, so what I will do is, now that we've got no one else at this point in time to do a deputation, in representation in relation to the annual business plan, we do have one deputation, which is the Main North Road pruning and maintenance for Mr Jamie Chippett. So I'll move that item forward now to get that out of the way, and then we'll continue on with the ordinary course of business. So Mr Chippett, if you can come forward. I know you've done deputations before, Mr Chippett, but as the usual process, as your deputation, you have up to 5 minutes. At the 4 minute mark, you'll get a warning if you're still going. At the conclusion of your presentation, please stay at the podium in case there's any questions, and your time will start when you start talking.
Right, how you going, peoples? My name's Jamie. I just came back from Taree in New South Wales to visit my brother over there. My brother works for the Mid-Coast Council over there. He's in charge of 34 parks and reserves over there for maintenance. And he came back with me when we came back here to South Australia. He left here when he was 23 years old, and he said to me, he goes, Jamie, I'll never live back here again. He goes, it hasn't changed here in Elizabeth. He goes, what's the go here? All these big buildings and tennis stadiums and everything else, and the place looks a mess, Jamie. And with Main North Road, I'm suggesting that a gang of 3 people should be employed full-time from where the Old Spot Hotel is all the way up to Smithfield Hotel to do with all the strips along there and to maintain and prune and deal with that, because this is the gateway to our city, guys, and it looks shocking. So when people come from interstate and they come to our city and they see the state of Main North Road out there, it's a shame for our city. So I'll show you a city that has got itself together, so if you can play that. And here's, I'll come back through Mildura, and you look at their main drag when you'll see in a minute, and the way that they've done that. Obviously the dynamics are different here compared to Main North Road, but this is where we have to liaison with Lee Odenwater and the state government about fixing these traffic light intersections up, you know, cleaning up the middle strip, getting some palm trees or something down there and make this place look presentable. And as you can see down here, look at the lovely intersections there, all well kept and looked after. They've got memorials in there, they've got fountains in there. they've got all sorts of stuff in there. And if you look further down as it comes down, you see the palm trees there on the side. And when the video does finish, you'll only see half of what that road is. The other half, they didn't get to see. So we could make Main North Road look really nice and pretty. So when people come through Main North Road, they can say, wow, Elizabeth looks really nice. So we need some discussion here with the state government concerning the centre strip, and then with all the trees down the side, they need to be pruned, they need to be maintained, and then after that we can make further decisions on tracks or any other features that go in there. So basically that's about it really. So
okay,
that's what we could make Elizabeth look like, guys. So, with the state government, if we can get a couple of $100,000 for each set of traffic lights, get them all fixed up, get all the middle fixed up, and make it look really nice. So that's about it. Any questions? Oh, also, has there been any consultation with Lee Odenwater concerning the centre strip of Main North Road?
At the end of your deputation, we might be able to provide a response to that, Mr. Chipper. You've got 1 minute and 40 seconds left.
Oh, yeah, right. Coming back to the gang, really the council should be able to crunch their numbers, maybe cancel a few positions that are in the office and get 3 full-time workers so they're out there cleaning up the whole strip all the way along. I mean, you get the slasher in there that goes once or twice a year, does a real butcher job of it. You got shopping trolleys and everything else out there, and really, I mean, the other councils can do it. You go to Salisbury Council, you go to Tea Tree Gully Council, you have a look at the way they prune their trees up and the way they maintain them. So really I'm not asking for any big infrastructure things.
1 minute.
It's just a matter of getting some people out there and getting some work done. Cleaning the trees up. The trees down there, you've got all these low-hanging branches that are hanging down. How's the lawnmower supposed to get underneath and mow all the grass? So, yeah, that's about it. Done here.
Yep. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Chibbett?
Also, is there going to be any consultation with Lee Odenwater concerning this? I'd like to...
Yeah, we'll get that answer. I'm just going to...
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the end of your presentation. Is there any questions for Mr. Chippett? If not, well, thank you for your presentation, Mr. Chippett, and we'll get someone to...
Yeah, if they could be tabled, it would be much appreciated.
Have we had any discussions with Mr. Odenwalder in relation to the Main North Road medium strip?
Yep. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, we haven't had any specific conversations with Mr. Odenwalder about Main North Road median strip. We are in regular contact with the Department of Infrastructure and Transport that do have ownership of that strip of land and do maintain it, so we do have regular dialogue with them.
Yep.
All right, thank you very much for your deputation, Mr. Chippett.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.
Okay, is there anybody else wishing to make a representation in relation to the 2023-24 business plan? Has Miss Simone Black arrived? No. If there's nobody else, I'll continue the agenda items and periodically we'll call to see if there's any other member of the public wishing to make a representation under section 123 of the Local Government Act. If there is none, then we'll go on to the next item, which is declarations of interest. Are there any members declaring an interest? I will declare an interest in item 17.1. I'm a member of an organisation that's listed in the report. I've also been an operational member of this organisation and was a former board member of this organisation. As this matter concerns a potential rebate, as a fair-minded person could consider there may be a conflict of interest in this matter. To avoid any doubt or any issues, I'll declare a general conflict of interest in this matter and leave the room when the item comes forward. We will then go to item 4, which is the Mayor's report. A number of items on the screen throughout the last month or so. The City of Playford received the Best Local Government Award at the Tennis SA Awards for our ongoing work in relation to tennis in the City of Playford. The NSS received some funding in relation to some great work in creative industries, and it was wonderful to host the Honourable Amanda Rishworth and Matt Burnell MP. A number of community markets. There was the 40th birthday of the Grenville Centre, the live streaming of the coronation of King Charles III and Queen Camilla, and a number of other events throughout the time that you can read on the screen. It was also a pleasure to represent the city at the commemorative service for Dam Busters that was held at the Torrens Parade Ground on the 80th anniversary of that event, and a number of other items that are on the screen. And then we'll hand over to Councillor Rentoulis, the Deputy Mayor.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the gallery. I'm pleased to be here with you tonight to present Mayor Doherty's award for 20 years of service on local government. Mayor Doherty was elected to council in May 2003 at the age of 19 years of age as one of 2 councillors for Ward 6. He was re-elected for a second term in 2006 and became Deputy Mayor, a position he held from 2006 to 2010. At the 2010 council election, he was elected Mayor of the City of Playford. He has been elected to the position of Mayor in 2014, 2018 and 2022 local government elections. He is the longest serving Mayor at the City of Playford. He has quite a few recognised achievements. In 2001, he was awarded a Centenary Medal for Outstanding Service to the Australian community. In 2002, he was awarded the Young Playford Citizen of the Year. He was the inaugural winner of the SA Local Government Association John Legault Encouragement Award in 2007 for excellent effort during his time as a councillor and as Deputy Mayor. He has served and continues to serve on the following committees at the City of Playford: the Strategy and Services Committee, Corporate Governance Committee, the Chief Executive Officer Review Committee as the presiding member, the Civic Events Committee, the Policy Review Committee as the presiding member, and the Chairman for the Playford Alive Initiatives Fund. He has also served on a number of boards and school governing councils. He has, and I believe continues to serve on St John Ambulance SA, Netball SA, Mark Oliphant College, Playford International College, and Riverbanks College. And he is the current chairman of the National Growth Areas Alliance and is currently on the NGAA Strategic Advisory Committee. Mayor Doherty has been a member of this council now for a long time. He's one of, he's almost part of the fabric, along with some of the other councillors around this chamber. I wholeheartedly congratulate him for his service to the community, and I invite you to join me in congratulating him. So thank you, Mayor Doherty. And now I'd like to invite Mayor Doherty to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. 20 years is a long time. You don't think about that too often, but it has been a great honour and privilege, and most importantly, I'd like to thank the residents of Playford. At 19 years old, I'd just become the Young Citizen of the Year, and a number of community members had said to me, "We really think you could make a difference for young people in Playford. Have you ever thought about running for local council?" At the time, it hadn't actually dawned on me. I was also a member of the Youth Advisory Committee, and it's only just been this last week that Lily Bookfer, who has left our organisation, she was the Youth Development Officer at the time. And I remember sitting down with her talking about how you actually run for council. It's a shame that she's not here this evening because she would remember that conversation vividly. Back in those days, I know there was no iPhone, Facebook didn't exist, and campaigning was the traditional way of buying some new shoes and knocking on doors. And for those of you that have been around for a while, using the very rundown black and white photocopier in the Elizabeth Library by the clock tower to print off a couple of hundred brochures that you paid something like 5 cents for at the time. And who would have thought 20 years later you'd still be here? It truly is a wonderful city, and we've seen so much growth and opportunity throughout that time, and that is made up by the wonderful residents of Playford, and for each and every one of you who've been around this horseshoe over a number of those elections. Each of you give your time, energy and passion because you love your community. It's for no obligation or compulsion, but you do it because you want to make Playford a great place to live, work and play. And that's always what I've wanted to do in my time at Playford Council. It has and still is an honour and privilege to serve our community. There have been some great things that have happened. There's always some challenges along the way, but anyone in public life knows that at the end of the day, to make a real difference, it truly is about representing your community, standing up for what you believe in and what they believe in, to not always listen to the last person that spoke to you, but to have some conviction in what you stand for and what you believe in. There is going to be some times where that is always a challenge, but those that survive longest in local government are those that have conviction, those that believe in something better than themselves and something bigger than themselves, and humbly believe that their community deserves better, and that's why they put their hand up. So I'd like to thank the residents of the City of Playford, the staff and administration over those 20 years as well, to my family and to my friends that have assisted me, and to a number of people that have helped letterbox, knock on doors and stuff envelopes over the years. This certificate is just as much yours as it is mine. But lastly, I'd like to say to the Playford community, thank you for your trust in me, and these 20 years have been a delight. It's gone so quick, and I still look at this photo up here and think, geez, where's the hair gone? Because I don't have any now. You know, it's a great honour to be along these walls with some people that have helped build this city, and I look at some of the names that have graced this wall, and they are true honourable people that have built this community, and I still sometimes pinch myself to realise that I'm on that wall too. Thank you. We now go to item 5, which is reports of representatives of council on other organisations. Are there any this month? Councillor Halls.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to thank the members for electing me to the normal board first and foremost. It is quite an honour to be on that board and to be one of the people responsible for our waste and working with the other two councils. To that end, the board elected me to go on the Bale Field Management Consultative Committee, and that committee is a meeting for local residents around the Balefield, I've forgotten the street name. And that's about looking after the Balefield, making sure that there's not rubbish blowing around Playford. That's it. Medlow Road. God, I had this prepared. So we meet once every couple of months and we discuss about the odours and the rubbish that's blown around and the dumping that's going on around Medlow Road. And that is very good. And between the council and Norma, they are getting on top of the odours. And they spray it quite regularly. So I'd just like you and the community to know that we are working with people, and that will be that closes in 2026 as well. So I just thought you'd like to know.
Thank you, Councillor Halls. Are there any other reports on other organisations? If not, we'll go to Councillor Marsh. If you could like, we'll go to reports by councillors. I know most of you submitted them. Is there anything anyone else wants to add? Councillor Halls.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would just like to thank the business from Razzo's Castles for the family fun day that they put on at the Elizabeth Vale football grounds during the school holidays. It went down very well. It was run by family and friends, and they had a lot of people out there that had a lot of fun.
Thank you, Councillor Halls. If there's no other reports, we move on to reports of representatives. Councillor Baker.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr Mayor. On Friday the 19th of May, the local government professionals held their 22nd annual Leadership in Excellence Awards. City of Playford submitted 3 nominations and 2 were shortlisted. Excellence in Local Economic Development, Stimulating Defence Industry and Growth Strategy, and Leadership in Community Service and Development. I'm very pleased to say that Playford won both awards. I'd like to congratulate Mr Green, our CEO, and his staff for these 2 awards, and I'm sure that the Chamber will agree to come from the position that Playford was in when he took the position. It's an amazing turnaround. I'd like to thank the staff and Mr CEO, Mr Green and his staff, and the elected members, and we certainly look forward to many more years of commitment to the City of Playford for our residents.
Councillor Norris.
Thank you. Thanks, Marilyn. You actually just reminded me of something that I would like to mention. No, it's good. So I actually just wanted to make a quick mention for a couple of organisations that have jumped on board to help Cause We Care. So we have the Latte for You. So Georgie Thomas from the Mustard Seed has jumped on board to assist with coffee for the people that come down to Fremont every Saturday, so at no cost. And there's also a gentleman by the name of Andrew from Right Price Heating and Cooling that has offered donations that are essentially picked up from Anglevale when they are needed. And also a really big kudos to Anne Cooper, who's the founder. So just recently she was at the SA Volunteer of the Year Awards. She did not win, however, she was in the top 5 of her category. Absolutely ecstatic, and you know, she literally deserves the world for what she does for our community as well as other communities, helping those underprivileged, feeding them, etc. She's an absolute gem.
Thank you, Councillor Norris. If there's nobody else, then we'll go on to reports of conferences and training programs. Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Your Worship. In the last month, I've attended a couple of things, so I'll just talk about the NGAA conference dinner and bus tour, and that was about the resilience of councils and how most councils are fast growing, and the difficulties around trying to manage that growth, and the choices that that affect the community health and environment. So, and I joined his worship, was one of the members of the committee that organised that, which was quite good. The bus tour around on the next day, we went round Mount Barker to have a look at some of their environmental practices and parks, which I thought was really good. And they actually have a shared bike and footpath in one of their parks, not far from the new football oval that they just put up. The other place that I attended was the AITPM, which is a South Australian group that talked about road safety. And I was keen to go to this, and it was good to see that there were other councils and areas around Adelaide that are finding a lot of barriers towards schools and local places with parking, and especially for the road safety of children crossing the road. And there's no easy answer to that as well. They are looking at trying to be a bit more focused on kids crossing the road, but they're trying to reduce the amount of traffic lights and things in the same street and in that area, which is really good. But they're also talking about in the foreseeable future we will have smart roads where the cars will just stop. They won't have any choice. But I just thought you'd all like to know I did enjoy what I was while I was out there at those two things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Halls. Before I call anybody else, is there anyone wishing to make a representation in relation to the 2023-24 business plan for the public hearing as per section 123 of the Local Government Act? If you do, just put your hand up and we can facilitate that. Is there anybody in the Great Hall? No? I'm being advised there's no one in the Great Hall. Mr. Barbie, yes. Would you like to have... Yeah, I'd just like to say a few words. Okay, if you want to come down to the podium. So for the minute taker, it's Mr. Sean Barbie. So Mr. Barbie, up to 5 minutes, if you're still going.
Yeah, I don't want a couple minutes now.
Okay, no worries.
Good evening, buddy. I've been a volunteer for this council nearly over 20 years, along in this council, and I'd like to just to thank Glenn for his nomination. So I remember one story I'll tell when we used to do the lolly run many years ago, when Glenn was campaigning, and we was out on the lottery run. We used to have a microphone and say, vote for Glenn for council, all around the streets of Devon Park and Smithfield, and there was a lot of people and a lot of lotteries going that day, wasn't it?
It wasn't about voting at that time, it was about the lolly run for kids, but thank you for embellishing, Sean. Yeah, so there was a lot of beer, there's a lot of people who are giving him beer as well, so... That part was true. There was a gentleman that did give us a beer, yeah. So I'd just like to thank... another thing I'd like to say is council's changed over the years, and I think most councillors know that we should get back to basics and remember the community voted you in. And the community is hurting out there at the moment because of council rates are going up and people can't afford their houses and stuff. So just remember when you vote for when the council rates and that, just remember the people out there that voted you in, okay? And just don't vote on pride of anything like that, just vote on common sense, all right? Common sense is sometimes it's a hard word, but I reckon it's an easy word because people, as I say, are out there struggling at the moment because I drive the bus as well for the Greenfield Centre. I take people to their appointments and stuff like that and take other groups out. And I hear a lot of things out there. Elderly people are not buying this and not buying that because they can't afford it just at the moment. Just remember, you know, I know you get your allowances and stuff, you get your over 20 grand or whatever a year or whatever, tax-free, right? So just remember, people out there are only on the pension, you know? So, and they can't afford, things are going up all the time, you know? And just hope you vote like a little bit of passion. Just remember, because your egos can't, because there's some of you's probably got egos, you know? Just leave the egos out the door. Vote just normally, just for the normal average people out there, you know? And that's all I've got to say, Mayor. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. If there's nobody else, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Barbie? No? If there's no other person making a deputation, then I will also talk on reports of representatives of conferences and training programs. I attended the National Growth Areas Alliance Congress, which was held in South Australia by the Mount Barker Council in Harndorf, along with Councillor Halls, the CEO, Mr. Green, and a number of other council staff. So the idea of the Congress this year was in relation to community resilience and how fast-growing suburbs develop. The keynote address was given by Mr. Aaron Hill, who works for Essentia. He is their chief economist and Director of Economic Insights there. That also had a very special and poignant point for us, as Aaron, who's now based out of Melbourne, I believe, and who runs that program for Essentia, was also once a Playford resident. and grew up here in the city of Playford in his young and teenage years. So it was great to have him talking about the economic opportunities that are available to fast-growing councils. There was a number of presentations in relation to sustainable suburbs, how fast-growing communities can build resilience in suburbia in relation to climate change issues, and how design can impact on local communities in relation to climate adaptation as well. There was the Local Government National Growth Area Alliance Awards, and also a field trip around the District Council of Mount Barker, which was the opportunity for councillors from across the country to have a look at a number of things, such as some new innovative works around wetlands from the Ratinga wetlands, also to view the Summit Sports Park, which you may have known has received a Gather Round game, and the opportunities of how that came about and how local government is able to leverage relevant grants to develop that sports precinct, along with some opportunities to also visit some cultural and arts centres within Mount Barker around the cultural development of their city. So that's my report from attending the National Growth Areas Alliance Congress that was held in South Australia. Are there any other reports or representatives of conferences and training programs? If not, then we move on to item 8, questions without notice. Are there any questions? Councillor Vanderpeer.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. Can council staff please provide an update on the process for deceased animals in public places that they are reviewing, and can they also advise whether elected members will be involved in that review?
Mr. Langman.
Through the Mayor, thank you for the question. The process review is underway, so the Animal Welfare League have been contacted, and a number of the teams within council that deal with these matters. There are a couple of teams that interrelate with this, are working through what the practices have been in the past and what some different practices or a new approach might be going forward, and obviously some of the financial considerations around that as well. It really is at this point, it's an internal staff process. It's not necessarily a policy or procedure, which would usually come to elected members for endorsement. So we'll be effectively working on that as a staff group.
Are there any other questions? If not, I'm presuming Councillor Vanderpeer, you'd like a question and the accompanying answer recorded in the minutes? Yes, so you move that way. Does it find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Reefy. I'm presuming the mover and seconder don't wish to speak. If there's no other speakers on the item, I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against, I declare that carried. We've got one question on notice from Councillor Halls, which appears in our minutes. Before we move on to the following items, I will just ask, is there anybody here who wishes to make a representation in relation to the 2023-24 business plan as per section 123 of the Local Government Act? Staff are just checking outside, make sure there's no one there. There isn't anybody there. There's no one inside the gallery wishing to make a representation. Then I'll continue with the agenda items. We have nil petitions. Obviously the representation for the business plan is still open at this point in time. We have already done a deputation in relation to Mr Chippett, so we'll now move to item 12, motions without notice. Are there any motions? Councillor Arifi.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Before I move my motion without notice, I do want to congratulate you for your 20 years of service, and thank you.
Thank you.
My motion without notice is up on the screen. Council acknowledge and support the Dwight Reserve upgrade, including concept planning, preparation for location of additional change rooms for Eastern Park, clubs and car parking options for the site. As part of the 23-24 annual business plan, Council allocates supplementary funding for Dwight Reserve North to facilitate proposed toilet, drinking fountain, large shelters with barbecue and picnic tables, rubbish bins and additional trees as proposed in stage 2.
Do you wish to speak to that?
Yeah, just briefly, Mr. Mayor, as we heard from our young resident tonight, Safira, I think she speaks on behalf of many children and parents who want to advocate for this project. You might have seen in the What We Have Heard report for Dwight Reserve North, unfortunately, the public toilet has not made the cut. So I think if we can allocate additional funding to include those facilities, that would be great. You will also see that 91% of the respondents indicated the concept plan was well suited to the neighbourhood, as well as toilet was the highest ranked facility residents wanted as part of the upgrade. Naturally, when you upgrade a reserve, you will see an increased patronage, and given that the new playgrounds will attract more visitors from locally, but also other neighbouring suburbs. It's close to Eastern Park Football Club, but also the Craigmore Shops and a number of local schools. So I think it's appropriate that we provide these basic facilities to our residents. Thank you.
Does the motion find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Bailey. Do you wish to speak?
I would like to second it.
Do you wish to speak?
No, it's everything that Councillor Arfi said is clear and what we had tonight. So, yeah. And I would like to ask for the support of all the councillors regarding this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone wish to speak against the motion? Councillor Kerrison.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. Look, thank you for the deputation tonight. I do support public toilets. I think they're very important. But right at this point in time, we've got an annual business plan and we've got the largest rate rise for a long time. 7.91%, all right, and it is greater than I'd like to see it, all right, and I do feel it will cause many of our community members some pain. So, as much as I support this, I then go back to our annual business plan. We've done a lot of work, and there's a lot of things that didn't make the cut this time. All right, right around the board. In my ward, there's quite a number of things. I know there's a number of people very upset about those things not making the cut. So, you know, tonight, as we've had Mr. Sean Barbie say, you know, think about it, not with our egos. We've got to think about what we can deliver, get back to basics. And while I support toilets being basics, if we go back to many basics we need to deliver, we're going to have a far greater rate rise than 7.91%. So we've got some choices to make. We've been making those choices. Dwight Reserve was something that I understand Lee Oldenwater has come to the table with some funding. That funding hasn't met the requirements at this point in time. So I would like to see Lee Oldenwater come back to the table and discuss what else we can do in the future to see this delivered. So look, tonight, as much as I support toilets, I'd like to see it happen. We've got more work to do to be responsible to our ratepayers, and all these people are going to feel pain in this rate rise as it is currently. Thank you.
Councillor Rentulis.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to foreshadow an alternative motion because I'm speaking against this particular motion. In the event that this motion does not succeed, I agree with Councillor Arifi with respect to point number one. I think this council is in agreement, and we've recently had the sports plan council-wide come back to us, and I believe, without indulging in relation to anything that's confidential, I think Dwight Reserve in relation to the Eastern Park Football Club or Eastern Park clubs was quite high in the agenda. So I support point number one, and I'll certainly move a motion with similar wording to that if this does not succeed, but I can't support item number two. Respectfully to Councillor Arifi, I appreciate that he wants this done as quickly as possible, but this has been brought to this chamber now 2, possibly 3 times. We have a significant rate rise on the table this year. My question respectfully to councillors that want items brought into the annual business plan that haven't been envisaged is, are you prepared to support a rate rise of 7.9% and higher now. If you're not prepared to do that, you can't have it both ways, respectfully. So I don't support this. Thank you.
Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Doctor, I've just got a couple of questions. When did our annual business plan discussions start? Just got a couple of questions, if I can. This annual business plan.
Mr. Green.
Through Mr. Mayor, I believe the first workshop we had with elected members was in December last year.
Fantastic, no worries. So December last year. My next one is as well, when did we start our sports strategy consultation work throughout the city of Playford? Can I just ask, when did that approximately start, the sports strategy?
About 15 months ago.
No worries. And can I just get confirmation, when it comes to facilities for parks, what dictates or guides the decision making by staff? So when you've got regional or local parks, do we have a particular document that actually guides us to these the number 2 point?
Yes, we have an open space strategy which has a series of hierarchies around open space areas and what sort of facilities will be contained within them.
Great, fantastic. Thanks for that. Those guiding documents is what brings us to our discussions at the start of the annual business plans. It's no doubt we've been very vocal, and I think Councillor Halls has done an exceptional job actually advocating for the Eastern Park Football Club, and we publicly know there's a need for change rooms out there. Let's not hide about it. We know that there's discussions about if there's arrangements that could be organised, or what can do, or if anything can be done to facilitate them. What I'm not impressed about is that we're almost at the end of our annual business plan through consultation, and yet again we're looking at putting something forward on the table when quite vocally you have said we're going to experience potentially one of the highest rate rises that this council has seen, because we are not in structural surplus. Let's get that message out to our community. We are not in structural surplus, and we are relying on external funding from our state and federal counterparts to come to us. I'm in support of ongoing upgrades of our sporting clubs. I've been very, very vocal on that one. There is a priority order that will be released, I'm sure, for public consultation. And I think we need that to come out. Let's allow a documentation that we've only just seen, I think, within 1 week to come out, and let's not jump ahead of a document that should hopefully some feedback may be provided to us as elected members. In regards to toilets, it's an expensive investment. We already know we're undertaking a number of new toilets at various sporting facilities or activations of parks and open spaces throughout the city of Playford. And I do acknowledge a fellow councillor with those comments that I can tell you there's a number of significant projects within this annual business plan that have actually been booted by 1 year and have probably been waiting for the last 20 to 30 years. So if this gets up, I'm happy to publicly go out there and demonstrate what we have chosen to put off the side, which I'll support, because we need to manage what we can in our annual business plan. But as the Deputy Mayor has said, I've got no problems in supporting the need for the Eastern Park. It's evidence-based, we can see it, there's a need for that one, but I'm not here and I'm not willing to go and add further items to our annual business plan when we've been working on this document since December, and it's not the right way. We know there was another particular item that tried to get thrown halfway through our annual business plan as well, and it wasn't supported, so let's stay on track, and if this is a need, let's flow it through to the next annual business plan and use the process that it has always been set in this chamber. Let's not change it now.
Any other councillors wishing to speak? Councillor Smith-Janik.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. Looking at the what we heard report, I do understand where the councillors are coming from with regards to not supporting paragraph number 2 there. Having a look, and as councillors, we're here to listen to our residents, and we did listen to them today as well. They physically came in, it's probably past bedtime, and they're here talking to us about what they're after, and noting that the toilets are ranked number 1 I think it's very important to be mindful of that. Being mindful that we have spoken about, I understand that there are stages 1 and it will be a stage process, I get that, but listening to the residents are after a proposed toilet to be able to enjoy this reserve even more so. And I know you talk about rate rises and you talk about the open space strategy and the funds where possibly this money may come from. It may not increase any more rates. But with regards to listening to our residents and giving them what they desire, to give them an explanation why these rates are going up. So this is something that I think our residents, we need to listen to them, and I will support this motion. Thank you.
Any other councillors wishing to speak? Councillor Renshaw.
Yeah, Mr Mayor, just a question to the CEO. Mr CEO, if this resolution is adopted, what does it mean for the annual business plan and the rate rise?
Through you, Mr Mayor, firstly, Councillor, we would need to determine how much the additions in the motion would be from a cost perspective. We would then need to remodel the annual business plan. The question is probably more so for the council around how do you choose to fund it. You've got different options in that respect. If you were to seek to keep your current position that you went out to consultation with in terms of the operating position of the council, you would need to rate fund the increase. You have other alternatives in terms of using proposed surplus to fund it as another option. So it depends really on the cost, and it depends on how the council chooses to fund that.
Thank you.
Councillor Craig.
Yeah, can it be? Can staff tell us how much a toilet would cost? Just the toilet.
Ms Greaves.
Thanks, through the Mayor. Toilet can cost anywhere between $250,000 to $300,000, and just noting also that there is a long lead time on delivery of ordering and delivery of toilets, or made toilets, that is. Yep. Thank you.
Councillor Carson.
Thanks, Mayor. I would support this motion. I think when we talk about getting back to basics, toilets are a basic need at a park. I think if we're going to do an upgrade that includes facilities that potentially children and families would be using at this park for extended periods of time, they're going to need a toilet there. It's just something that's needed at most parks, I think. It's what the community are expecting. It was part of the consultation, and it was on the top item for residents when they were asked what they wanted as part of the consultation. And I think we have been a lot about let's finish what we started, and I think let's not just do half a park, let's finish it off and give the residents what they want.
Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, I appreciate that all of our residents and sporting facilities need toilets, and as we've just learned, the addition of $200,000 or $300,000 is going is going to make quite a difference to our annual business plan. I applaud the young lady for bringing forward her concerns. However, we have been through a sporting strategy for the past 18 months. We've taken the last 8 months of our business plan to allocate all the funding. We've all had desires, we've all had ins, we've all had outs on the things that we would all like to see for our community. And I think it's grossly unfair to suddenly decide 1 month before the budget comes out, and we've actually sent it out to our community for discussion, to suddenly come up with something like this. We would have to ask our elected members to identify something that they would like to cut out of the strategy that we've all worked so very hard for, or we need to increase our rates yet again. And we've heard from people in the gallery that we're already facing a very high amount of money due to inflation, etc. So I really don't think that it's very fair on any of these sporting groups that we've had, bearing in mind that Dwight Reserve came out as one of the highest priorities and it is already receiving funding. We've committed to a master plan for that, and I've got no doubt that there will be a toilet block in that master plan. But to actually try and jump the queue once again and have to take something else that we've all fought for out of the budget, I don't think it's a very even playing field.
Any other councillor wishing to speak? If not, then Councillor Reevy has Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Your Worship. As you know, I've been advocating for Eastern Park Football Club for the last 8 years, and I believe that in the final annual business plan, we were getting some leeway of at least a shovel-ready plan. It's not going to be easy for them. There's a lot of work to be done to plan this. It's going to take them 12 months to plan what they need and where they're going to put it all, because with the roundabout going in on the Diptai Road, there's going to have to be a rearrangement of parking and a lot of other things as well. So it's not going to be an easy fit, and we've already planned that we will be looking at some of that in the next 12 months. I am hard put, and my heart is breaking with this at the moment, so it's going to be very hard for me to vote with this at the moment. I'm not really keen on, we agreed, in my mind, I thought we had all agreed that the Dwight Reserve North we weren't going to put any extra money to that. That wasn't shovel ready. That was a great donation of grant money that we were given by Mr. Odenwalder. Wasn't it Odin? Yeah. Which I thought was brilliant, but it's just that again is taking time, and it is taking time to get it all sorted out as well. So I'd just like to say that I am going to be torn to vote for this.
Councillor Norris.
Thank you. I kind of echo the sentiments of Councillor Halls and a few others around the room. Respectfully, we always appreciate a good government grant, obviously especially going towards playgrounds and things like that the kids can enjoy. We can all acknowledge in the room as well that since we've received that money as well, the costs to this playground have gone up considerably. Also respectfully to Councillor Smiljanic, yes, we do need to listen to our residents, but spending more than a few $1 million on one playground, especially in one hit, is a lot of money, especially in the current times when people cannot afford things, and we're going to justify a nearly $2 million, well, more than $2 million playground now. Like, that actually upsets me. Like, I want the kids to be happy, but we also need to consider where our priorities lie. So I just can't support this as it currently stands. We already have issues with our public toilets as well, where they're constantly being vandalised. We're fixing them every week, and that's not even an exaggeration. It's happening at Stebben Heath all the time. We get reports every week. They are meant to be neighbourhood parks. Essentially, they're in your neighbourhood because you should be close by to a bathroom facility, to the shops at least. I know it's not ideal, but that's the way they work at the moment. So, guys, I can't support it as it stands.
Any other councillors wishing to speak? If not, Councillor Reefy has the right to close if he wishes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a question before I finish off my remarks. Can the CEO advise if we are able to fund the proposed upgrade from our open space reserve without having any impact on the rate increase?
Mr. Green.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, Councillor, we haven't had an opportunity to cost this proposal, so I couldn't answer that question until we've been able to cost it.
Do we have funds available in the, or from the budget update report? I can see there's about 9 million in the open space reserve. Do you think that they will be able to accommodate the stage 2?
Mr. Green. If all the treatments are accessible in terms of meeting the criteria for open space funding, then yes.
Thank you. Well, councillors, given that we have Monopara West Peerless Reserve is getting a similar park upgrade, which is going to cost about 1.6 million. And I think it's a bit disappointing that, respectfully, Councillor Norris, the reserve upgrade is not going to cost a few millions. It's been budgeted 1.6 and 400,000 will be provided by the state government. So council needs to allocate the remaining amount. Also, I think it's a bit disappointing from a number of elected members to create this fear amongst the chamber that this park upgrade will have an impact on our rate increase. Well, clearly we have some open space reserve funding, which I'm sure we can utilise. And I have no doubt in our staff and CEO to be able to deliver on a local neighbourhood park. It's a small project compared to a number of our bigger projects. So I have full confidence in them and the staff to be able to deliver this. It's really important to that community, and we have utilised external funding for a number of other election commitments that were made by a number of MPs, except this one, except Dwight Reserve. So I think we need to be consistent, we need to be fair, and we need to utilise and provide the community the basic facilities like a toilet and a drinking fountain for a park upgrade, and I would encourage you to support it, and let's get on with the job, because upgrading this in one go will save council money and staff resources and time, and the community will be able to have access to a facility which will have all the basic infrastructure. Thank you.
All right, councillors, we have the motions before us. I won't read it out, it's on the screen. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I've got to declare it lost first. A division's been called, so the motion is set aside. So those voting for the motion, if you can rise in your place. Councillor Norris called the division. Was it Councillor Barney? Sorry, Councillor Barney. Thank you, councillors. The motion is lost. Now, before I call Councillor Rentoulis, we have passed 1 hour for our public hearing. However, the last 15-20 minutes or so has been taken up with this debate. So is there anybody else that wishes to make a representation under section 123 of the Local Government Act for the 2023-24 business plan? Is there anyone in the public gallery that wishes to make a representation? If so, could I please have you raise your hand now? I'll ask the staff if they can take a couple of moments just to make sure there's no one in the Great Hall, and I will keep the public hearing open until after our next foreshadowed motion debate has concluded. There's no one in the Great Hall, but I'll keep it open until after this next item is concluded. Councillor Rentoulis.
Thank you, Mayor. Could you please, could governors please bring up the previous motions? So I want to work with part 1, please, if I may. So the new motion reads, yep, just put part 1 up there, please. Okay. So right at the front, consistent with the recent hang on a minute, sorry, I'm just thinking on the fly. All right. Consistent with the Playford sports-wide strategy. Yeah, that's fine. Comma. Yeah, council acknowledge and support the concept plan for Dwight Reserve upgrade, which will investigate location of additional change rooms for Eastern Park clubs and car parking options for the site. Can I just get some assistance, please, from our staff? Obviously, I wasn't aware that this was going to be put up tonight as a motion without notice, but Dwight Reserve upgrade, I want to be clear, we're talking purely just about what is it, the southern section where Eastern Park Football Club is. Can we just make that abundantly clear in there, please?
Mr Welsh.
So that's Dwight.
Yeah, Dwight Reserve is where the football club's located.
Yeah.
Dwight Reserve North is where the open space project is we're talking about. Can I just also bring to your attention that there's $15,000 allocated to this project, the preparation of concept plans for Dwight Reserve, for the change rooms and the car parking in the draft annual business plan and budget.
It's already allocated.
It's already in the draft annual business plan and budget on page 30.
So if it's already allocated, why did you bring it up? Okay, I don't understand, but anyway. There you go, I didn't realise it's already in the annual business plan. Happy to move that way. Councillor Halls, Councillor Norris and I, Councillor Baker, we have been to this particular sporting club quite a few times. We understand that they are in dire need of an upgrade with respect to their facilities, their club rooms, their toilets. I believe that this is, without divulging anything that's confidential, this is a priority for this council in relation to the sports strategy. So I wholeheartedly support and endorse the concept plan for that particular facility. Thank you.
Motion final seconding. Councillor Norris.
Thank you. Obviously, I agree with what Councillor Rentoulis has just said, and obviously the intent. There's obviously a lot of people around this room that have listened to the sports strategy. We understand that this is a dire need for Dwight Reserve, especially with obviously the women's teams that have come in. I mean, being there recently to watch the Demons-Eagles game, one women's toilet, I'm sorry, is not enough. No women's change rooms is simply not acceptable. So 100% support that we obviously need to investigate and then prioritise this as a project that needs to get done ASAP.
Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks. Just a question first. In regards to when a particular project is funded through reserves, is there an operational cost to it? And do your reserves funding cover operational costs?
Mr Green.
Yes, there is an operational cost. With Open Space Reserve, that has been traditionally funded using growth.
Beautiful, fantastic. The other part of the funding model that we didn't get told. So this particular motion, I'm happy to support it publicly, that there's a need. I'm echoing the 8 years that you've been striving to get something done for this Eastern Park football club, and I think they might run out their netball and co as well from this. And it's amazing. I was talking to someone who actually used to play juniors back in 35 years, and their comments even to this day is nothing has changed, and it's disappointing on how successful the club has been, and we still haven't got up to scratch. So publicly happy to keep supporting the ongoing efforts by fellow councillors, and happy to support those who continue to follow the processes that we've got in play here in the city of Playford, because if not, there will be a difference in our rate rise, because it's called operational cost funding. Thank you.
Any councillor wishing to speak against the motion? If not, then Councillor Rentoulis has the right to close if he wishes. Oh, no, sorry, Councillor Reefy's got it then.
Just a question, Mr Mayor. Through you, consistent with the Playford sports strategy, can I confirm which sports strategy is Councillor Rentoulis talking about? Is it the 2014 or the current one? Because the current one is in confidence still, as I understand.
Mr Mayor, point of order, please.
That's a question.
And I'm raising a point of order. Mr Arifi is trying to assert quite salaciously that I've released something confidential. No, I haven't. We all know that the sports strategy was coming out. I haven't released anything. I haven't mentioned anything specific to that. So there's nothing confidential. So thank you, Arifi. I'll remember that. Thank you.
There is no point of order, but there is some validity to Councillor Arifi in that there is currently a sports strategy. We are in the process of doing another one. But Council does have, like we do periodically, our open space strategy and others. There are documents. Mind you, that sports strategy is directions is 2014. So there is currently one. If you looked on the website today, City of Playford does currently have a sports strategy as dated 2014. I've been advised by the staff.
Do you want me to...
You can close if you wish. Yep.
Sure, thank you. We can make it so that it's more specific than in relation to the strategy, the current one.
We can't now. You're closing the debate. We can't amend it, but...
Well, it's been noted now, duly noted, so we know what we're talking about. Thank you.
All right, councillors, we have the motion that's put before us. I won't read it out. Those for the motion? Those against the motion? I declare that carried. Division has been called by Councillor Hall, so the motion set aside, so everyone voting for the motion, please rise in your place. So for the ease of the minute taker, that is everyone. Thank you, councillors. As that item is now concluded, I will do the final call for anybody under section 123 of the Local Government Act wishing to make a representation in relation to the 2023-24 business plan. Are there any other people wishing to make a representation? If there's nobody in the Great Hall, then I will close the public hearing element of the 2023-2024 business plan as per section 123 of the Local Government Act 1999 at 26 minutes past 8. All right, councillors, we'll go on to the next item, which is item 13, motion on notice, Council Verges. Councillor Marsh.
I'm going to withdraw and let it elapse. I won't put that motion forward.
Okay, so there isn't a motion moved unless another councillor wishes to move that said motion. Councillor on your end, you wishing to move that motion?
No, I'm supporting.
Okay, just to be clear, there isn't a motion, but you are entitled to move one as it is on notice if you wish, but if you're not moving that motion, then that's fine. Okay, any other councillor wishing to move what was there? No? Okay, we go on to item 14, Run Rural Road Delivery Program, response to motion on notice on page 9. Councillor Kerrison.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. I'm happy to move that tonight. The report, thank you to all councillors in supporting the deferral last month. It's given me more opportunity to have a discussion with our CEO and also Janie Mitson, and there is some extra information in that report. I am satisfied that we have moved forward and things are being handled, have been improved and will be handled better in the future. So thank you, and I will support that receiving this report tonight.
So councillor, can I just be clear, are you moving the committee recommendation or the staff recommendation? Because the committee
staff recommendation.
Yeah, because the committee recommendation talks about coming to the meeting tonight. So you're moving the staff recommendation. Thank you. Is it fine a seconder?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Doherty. And I'd just like to just note that I like the outcomes that you've got there for further actions, and have identified obviously we're moving from sort of manual assessment through to technology, and that we're going to really monitor when we've got deep swales and drains into our projects, because we know when we're widening our roads, we have some inundation of our swales. So I really look forward to, Sam, your staff going forwards on this case by case, and hopefully we can really improve the finishing touch to our roads.
Any other councillor wishing to speak on the motion? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Move to item 14.2, Gawler River Floodplain Management Authority, draft business plan and budget for 23-24. Councillor Rentoulis.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move the committee recommendation, please.
You wish to speak to that?
No, thank you.
Does the motion find a seconder? Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, happy to move and don't need to speak to it. Thank you.
Does any other councillor wish to speak to the item? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Move to item 14.3, consideration of the adoption of the behaviour management support policy and attachments. Councillor Baker.
Move the recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Baker. Does it find a seconder?
Happy to second the motion.
Yep, seconded by Councillor Onuzans. Is there any other councillor wishing to speak? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Move to item 14.4, cost of constructing a shared use path from Ely Reserve, Smith Creek Trail to Dwight Reserve on page 88. Councillor Norris.
Thank you. happy to move the staff recommendation with some words, if I may.
Yes.
All right, so obviously I appreciate the time taken to build a report. I did ask for this, I think just as we were going into elections last year. Obviously I understand the costings. I think they're a little excessive. We could have explored different options. But I want to acknowledge that what I'm looking at here, especially with considerations for Dwight Reserve or Dwight Reserve North upgrades, is that we're looking to connect our sporting clubs. So we've got both Manapara Soccer Club and then Eastern Park Football Club. We'd also be connecting Craigmore, Elizabeth Downs and Elizabeth Park together. There is essentially already a man-made path there that people utilise heavily during the summer months, but unfortunately it gets quite slushy and horrible during the winter months, so it becomes a fair bit harder. The report considered a pretty high standard pathway, which I respect, but like I said, I would have preferred if we had also, and maybe I should have stipulated that we looked at some alternative low-cost options. I would like to, and I was going to add an amendment, but I don't believe it would, I guess, fall into the same category, that this should be considered as being added to the list of footpaths for upgrading, as we could already argue that it is utilised as such anyway. It's not a formalised footpath, but is essentially used considerably, and if anyone wants to go out and count the people, by all means you can. The other thing I wanted to note that I found quite interesting, so we've had residents in the past that have queried getting benches on Smiths Creek Trail, along Smiths Creek Trail near Craigmore, and we're advised that these were around $5,000 each, and I note in these reports that they're around $2,000, so I'm just wondering if the cost has gone down, or we get a deal for buying more, or we're just sort of, you know, raising the price to make it sound like it's a little too hard. So if someone could tell me what the actual cost of a bench is as well, I'd be appreciative.
Mr. Welsh.
I can't answer your question specifically in regards to whether they're 2,000, 4,000, 5,000. In preparing the report, we used our kind of agreed rates and also our experience with past projects, but we can definitely take that on notice and follow that up.
That's me done.
Does the motion find a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Marsh.
Happy to speak and don't need to speak, sorry, happy to support, won't speak.
Thank you, Councillor Marsh. Anyone else wish to speak? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour, those against, I declare that carried. Move to item 15.1, Norma Charter Review on page 93. Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, happy to move the staff recommendation. I just want to talk brief. Norma's evolving. It's going to evolve. We're going to change from the current, obviously, 3-bin system, and I'm sure that might come up. And obviously, the adventure of Norma is going to broaden quite considerable, especially when Ulibri waste facility, the dump there closes. So I'm in support of bringing some expertise onto this board and making it quite dynamic. It's in its next evolution, I think, going forward for the next 30, 40 years.
Does it find a seconder? Second by Councillor Hall.
Yes, thank you. I'll second that.
Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Kerrison.
Thank you, Mayor Docherty. Look, I do support this. I think it's a positive change. The only thing I would raise is going back from 2 elected members to 1 elected member. I would still like to see 2 elected members sitting there as well. But other than that, I do support the change. Thank you.
Any other councillor wishing to speak? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Move to item 15.2, Commonwealth Home Support Program Funding Agreement, 23-24.
Move the recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Baker. Does it find a second? Seconded by Councillor Marsh. I'm presuming the mover and seconder don't wish to speak. Does any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Smiljanek.
Thank you, Mayor Docherty. I must say thank you so much to council staff for bringing this back into our community. I've had a couple of aged care members reach out to me in the community asking how can I get assistance. So I've been able to lead them to council staff, and then the council staff have been able to support these elderly members to get the support that they require. So this is excellent. Cheers.
Any other councillor wishing to speak? If not, then I'll put that. Those in favour, those against, I declare that carried. Then go to item 15.3, budget update report. Page 125. Somebody wish to move? Yep, moved by Councillor Small-Jenick, seconded by Councillor Baker.
Thank you.
I'm presuming the mover and seconder don't wish to speak. No, then I'll put that. Those in favour, those against, I declare that carried. Nearly informal discussion, and I'll go into the confidential items, and I'll ask the Deputy Mayor if he can come forward for the first item.
Okay, thank you, councillors. We've got a staff recommendation on page 136 to move into confidence pursuant to section 92 of the Local Government Act, that an order be made that the public be excluded from attendance at the meeting with the exception of the people listed on the screen. Can I have someone move that way, please? Councillor Smallwood-Smith. Would you like to speak to it, councillor?
No, thank you.
Seconded by Councillor Marsh. Would you like to speak to it?
No, thanks.
All right, so I'll put that to a vote. Those in favour, those against, I declare that carried. We'll shut the doors.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford.
All right, councillors, we'll go to... Just hold on a moment, we've got a technology issue here. All right, councillors, we'll go to item 17.2, Chief Executive Officer Review Committee Report on page 139. I have to admit, I love the sound of my own voice, but that was not good. That was not great. Would someone like to move under section 92 of the Local Government Act that an order be made that members of the public be excluded except for the following, as you can see on the screen? Does someone wish to move that way under section 93A? Moved by Councillor Onyuzans, seconded by Councillor Marsh. I'm presuming the mover and seconder don't wish to speak. If there's no one else wishing to speak, I'll put that. Those in favour, those against, I declare that carried and ask that the doors be closed.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manopara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people.
Councillors, I remind you we're still in the meeting. We're just waiting for the live... Councillors, just remind you we're still in the public meeting. Just waiting for the live stream to come back on. Okay, we're now back on. There's no other item. Councillors, just remind you we're still in the public meeting. There's no other items. I'll close the meeting at 9:20. Thank you.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.